Picture, if you will, an episode of The Twilight Zone or The Outer Limits or possibly Tales from the Crypt in a universe where all the stars and planets have just gone, and only a few scattered starships and space stations are all that's left of humanity. Yet, on one pitiful little moon, they find an ocean, but it's made out of human blood. What do you do to get some answers from this ocean, and who do you send? This is the premise of the game Iron Lung, a little indie gem that was played by Mark Fischbach, aka Markiplier, as we know him, and ultimately the seed crystal around which his directorial debut for the big screen has formed. Yes, Markiplier has finally made it big. He's an official director, not just for YouTube videos, but for an actual theatrical performance. This version of Iron Lung is pretty much faithful to the game, with a few extra things thrown in because the game was kind of sparse. But this is a good thing. We finally get some real plot and more nuance to the simple premise of piloting a sealed submersible and taking pictures. Overall, they recreated the Iron Lung game beautifully. The main set, which is basically the inside of the titular Iron Lung, it's grimy, rusty interior. It's slightly malfunctioning controls and monitors are all faithfully recreated, and Markiplier himself plays the titular character, a criminal who, upon completion of the expedition to take photos and find information about whether or not this ocean of blood can be used for constructive purposes, the success of which will gain him his freedom, he plays the character perfectly. We get snippets of backstory as to why he's such a criminal. We basically get to see the long-term effects of isolation, and basically Markiplier becomes the character. He's been able to practice drama for so many years that now he could just turn it on and really sell it to the audience. His performance is amazing. He has a small cast of other characters who briefly show up. They do well. It's a little slice of the apathy and cold determination that represents the lengths humanity will go to survive. And they're compelling. And not only are the insides of the sub vastly superb, but the still photos that are a key aspect of the Iron Lung game, they're recreated beautifully. You believe that this place exists, and it is bone-chilling. Especially when the final act is revealed. And it is... They do a lot with what little they have. This was an indie production, and it is not cheap. It does not look cheap. It looks Spartan. That's the best way I can put it. Not an ounce of fat. It's just pure story and the absolute necessary amount of stuff that they need. And it's put forth on the screen in glorious detail. And let's talk about the blood. That was some good blood. The way it starts out as drop by drop, and then we get, shall we say, the big heavy flow at the end. It's believable that stuff is actual blood and not, chocolate syrup with a bit of red food coloring. And Markiplier does all his own stunts. Sorry, I'm so excited I'm stuttering. So he's really putting all of himself into not only the role, but the guts of the role. And honestly, I can't think of anyone who would make a better, more faithful adaptation of this chilling little gem of a game, other than maybe Quentin Tarantino, although I think if he were to do it, there'd be a lot more feet. I don't think Spielberg himself could have captured the game so perfectly, although he could have come close. There probably would have been a lot more exterior shots with CGI, but thankfully they went all practical. Anything that could be done practically was done practically. So overall, this was a faithful adaptation. Now, as for the story, it is very slow in terms of stuff that happens, but that's sort of that's the point. You're trapped in this space with this character. And you're learning at the same speed he's learning. And what you find out is definitely something that is going to rock both you and the character to the core. If you're looking for action, you're going to be hitting the skip button on the DVD quite a few times. But if you're looking for a slow burn that properly builds up the tension until finally, when things come to a head, you're holding your breath to see what happens, then this one is a solid choice. In fact, if Markiplier and his team were to see about capturing the horror elements of, say, the Subnautica franchise, then I would definitely give them my support. Because keeping things tight and not being too hung up on spectacle, that's what Markiplier was able to do. And I think he succeeded. His whole team succeeded. I want to see them do more. I want to see them do stuff with Subnautica. So, yeah. This is Mr. J signing out and reminding you, when it comes to swimming, blood may be thicker than water, but water's easier to see through and probably allows for better buoyancy. And not necessarily fewer sea monsters, though. Especially on 4546B. Congratulations, Mark. Congratulations, Mark's team. I look forward to seeing what's next. Maybe something in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, finally. There's still a couple games that could be made into movies. Just a thought.